Well, hello. What am I doing here so early? I actually thought today was Wednesday. Like, I'm already a day ahead of the week. So, I'm Garlinda Price. I'm the CEO of Glamit Cosmetics. I'm the CEO of Fusion Properties, and I'm an ordained outreach pastor. And God has called me to women. Well, why? Because I've owned businesses since I was 19 years old. And through it all, I've made money, lost money, but God consistently has allowed me and blessed me to earn a six-figure income through being self-employed, and I honor God for that. And because of that, He's called me to serve women in business, women in leadership that want to launch out and open their new businesses, that want to start new businesses, that want to restart new businesses, that have gotten sidetracked or misguided in God's plan for them as it relates to business ownership. And so I'm here for you. He sent me to the masses. So on the last video, we talked about mindset, and the one before that, we talked about whether or not your business is viable and how to determine that. I'm going to share a link down below to my YouTube page if you're just finding me for the first time, so that you can go back and watch those other videos, and they'll make sense. They'll be in order, but you can watch them without being in consecutive anyway. So the one thing I want to share with you is success leaves clues, and that you have to model others in order to be successful. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Follow somebody that's already doing what you want to do, connect with them, and model what they're doing. That way you can avoid pitfalls and you can just do what they're doing. It's a slow road and a slow growth to success because you're following the patterns of someone else and you're building on a solid foundation. It's not copying, because imitation is the highest form of compliment, right? I say that because Jesus Christ was the chief cornerstone and model. He used 12 others to model his behaviors, to leverage himself, and to expand his reach. So he multiplied himself and multiplied Christianity throughout the whole world through 12 people. So anything is possible, right? I always like to just joke around a little bit and say that he was the first network marketing and direct sales company CEO, because he took 12 people and he conquered the entire world. That's amazing. So we can do that too, right? And then these 12 disciples, they went out then two by two. Well, that was the 72. And they spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to the entire world without the use of internet, email, and telephones. So we have no excuse. And when it comes to launching a business, restarting a business, coming up with a new idea, getting reorganized, restructuring, starting over, we have no excuse. They overcame the world with 12 people, and they didn't even have technology. So we can do this, right? You can do this. The disciples had to organically reach the imprisoned and the masses through speaking publicly and writing letters of instruction. So what do I mean by that? I mean that it will always go back to belly-to-belly relationship building. We can be on social media all day long. We can be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, everything. But at the end of the day, the relationship still has to be built in business, one person at a time or a group of people at a time, face to face, building relationships and getting to know one another. And that is how a successful business is built, right? There's no way around it. So those instructions and coaches, Jesus provided them with clear directions of where to go and what to do. And all they had to do in order to be successful was to pray and seek God's face, wait on his response, which many times the response was go. And guess what? He didn't always give them the whole plan. He didn't always lay it out in explicit details. God would show up, provide them with all they needed in word, in deed, in details, instructions. Sometimes he would send the directions through someone else, through a prophet, through a prostitute, through a stranger, through a derelict, through a blind man, through a donkey, through a cloud. God spoke through all these things, but he didn't always lay out the explicit length of details of the plan. So go forward, move forward with what you have, even when you only have a little bit to move on, because he's going to add at each step of the way, right? God used and uses the extraordinary, the mind-blowing, simple things of life to compel and propel us forward. Where people miss the mark is they sit down and say, I'm waiting on God. But you're not. It baffles me, because God's name alone, go, is an action word, and it should compel action, not complacency. So stop using lack of vision or lack of clarity as a reason to not move forward. If you've been given an idea or ideas and they're ordained by God, and if this is your calling, then anything short of activity is a sin. We talk about that, and I'm going to keep telling you that because I want you to operate in the gifts that God has called you to, because they're your talents, and therein is where you will be blessed and where generations will be blessed through you. It's not enough to just start a business for money. It's a ministry. That's why I said God called me to women in business and called me to women in leadership, because it's ministry. It's not about money, because when you serve, ultimately you're going to make money because you're serving, because it's about other people, and you can never outgive God, whether that's through service or giving. So define what the vision is. I need you to write it out plain. Write out your vision in all of its divine clarity. I need you to be able to see so far into the future that you can feel it and touch it. This is the first step to success and to designing your future and into designing your business, right? So I want you to read Habakkuk. I'm going to go to the scripture and read it to you. And this will share with you God's take on vision and the importance of having a written vision. And even though people beat you in the head about written goals and written vision, it's biblical. And it really does matter. So Habakkuk 2, and we're going to start at verse 2. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So he gives you clear directions right there to write the vision. And so to write it down on a piece of paper, he said on tablets, well, y'all know a tablet is a notebook now in modern day times, that he may read it that he may run with it who reads it. So that means that anybody should be able to pick up your business idea, your business plan, your vision statement, or whatever it is. It should be so clear they could just take off running with it and start the business. So you want to be clear. You want to be simple. You want to make it detailed, and you want to make it just so broken down that you don't get confused or bogged down, because only you have to understand it, right? And then you only have to make it where a little child could understand it. So keep it simple. And then, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Stop rushing. You're not in a race with anybody. It's not a success race, right? So you can take your time, because the vision is for an appointed time. So when I say you can take your time, I mean you have time to be successful. You're not late. You're in the right place at the right time. And then, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. So at the end of it all, when you've got it built up and you see it, you're going to be like, God, that was it. All along, that's what you had me building. That's what you had me gaining these experiences for. That's what you had me serving others for. That's what you had me working in other people's businesses for. That's what you had me taking this class or that class. And so things that you don't understand, in the end, you're going to understand, and they're going to speak, and they're not going to lie. It says, though it tarries, wait for it. So while you're waiting, it may seem like it's taking a really long time. Like, why is it taking me so long to birth this business? Why is it taking me so long to start it? Why is it taking me so long to get it all together? He said, wait for it. And it says, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. He's already guaranteed you success. He said it will surely come and it will not tarry. Now, he said above that, though it tarry, meaning it may seem like it's taking a long time, but he said wait on it, because it's coming and it's not going to be late on its arrival, okay? So trust God. So that's Habakkuk. Now, once you have the vision clearly defined, clearly imagined, and the picture ingrained and firmly implanted and embedded in your mind, you see where I'm going with this, then you can begin to create steps around working backwards from the end result to the steps it will take to get there. So that's the purpose of writing the vision down, because when you write it and say, okay, this is my today plan all the way to my 10-year goal, right? Then you've already written the business. Now all you're going to do is work backwards, and I'm going to help you work backwards. It's going to take videos to do that, but we're going to work backwards. But when you have a number or a business or an idea or a plan or target, whatever it is you want to work to, you got to work backwards, because God said he knows the end before the beginning. So that means that he too works backwards, right? We're just trying to catch up with him. So don't skip this step. Even if you already have the vision, and even if it is already crystal clear, it's important to always keep it out front and in the forefront of your mind. So now that we have clarity, a vision, a clear vision, a clear path, however, what do we want to do if we have 20 million ideas and only one life, 24 hours, limited resources? Scream, scream, scream. I have limited time, limited resources, and in some cases you might have limited abilities. So you're ready to pull your hair extensions out or your natural hair out by now, and you're ready to quit. So no, you stop and you stand still. You get some paper or a dry erase board. So what works for me is I have this huge dry erase board on my wall. It probably takes up not half the wall, but it's pretty big. It's the largest dry erase board they sell. And I have colored markers because I think in Technicolor, and I'm constantly writing out my ideas. I have Sharpie markers in all colors. I'm constantly writing out. And so what I want you to do right now is let it flow. Let your vision flow out. Think like a child. Write down everything. If money were no object, what would you do with your business? What happened before that didn't work that you want to happen now? Only write in positives. This time I'm going to do this. This time is different. I'm going to do that. This is my client that I should have reached out to before. These are the things I'm going to do different now. So you just want to write it out like you're having a conversation with yourself, and you just want to be so clear. This is the client that I want to go after. This is how much he or she makes. This is what I want to bring to the marketplace now. This is where I want to focus my efforts and my energies, and this is why I want to do that. This is why I want to be there specifically. And at first it's going to look like a lot of sheets of paper, because it should be a lot of ideas, and it may take you a couple of hours to do this, but you've got to do it. It's so key. It's so important. So I stress the use of colored markers and pens, because writing in colors other than black will evoke coloring as a child. It'll unblock your ability to dream in color and to see and to be creative. And you can even use crayons if you need to. So back to what if you have tons of ideas, how do you organize them? We're going to talk about that on the next video, because I don't want the video to run over. So that should give you enough to work with for this week. I want you to begin working on your vision. Please message me here on Facebook or over on YouTube and ask me questions. Call me too. I'll leave my number down below, but you can find my number anywhere. So I gotta run. That's the door. God bless you. Bye.